Hi, Jean.
Hey, darling, how are you?
Okay, just testing, just double checking the sound again.
Yes.
Okay, on my side, it's just a little bit soft again, even though I've got speakers on. I'll just double check.
All right, I've just turned up my volume as well.
Okay.
I can see on your camera. I'm just gonna read it with my banner, so I just blocked it off all this. There.
Oh, that's fabulous. All that beautiful pink.
Thank you. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Now, Pam is here, so I'm just going to unmute Pam and just ask her.
Pammy's my VA.
Oh, Pammy, can you just do a sound check on Jean and myself and just let us know what you're hearing on the other side?
If you just write it in the chat box, Pammy.
Yeah, she's on mute, and I'm trying to unmute her, but it won't unmute today. And I will take my glasses off in a minute. Okay, Jean, I'm just going to quickly go grab some salt. I just need to, yeah, I just need balance my electrolytes. I just sort of think it hit me. I'm like, actually, you know what? I'm just feeling. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly do that. Okay.
Okay.
I should have sat down. Usually I have a cup of tea with me, and I've just sat down and thought, oh, actually, salt would be better.
And are you okay if I have sips of water? Just
oh yes, please do. Yeah,
okay.
And that's why I sip salt while I speak, because when I'm bringing energy through, I use so much energy that I just use the salt to just rebalance, and the energy is starting to flow already.
Welcome, Pammy. Hello.
Right. Now to feed it all the way back through again.
I must admit, I just stick it under my arm. It just sits quietly under the arm.
Just. Hi, Catherine. I haven't got Catherine on it yet. So, hi, Catherine. We're just setting up and getting organised and ready, and a few minutes to go, and then we'll start.
No worries, I'm just a little bit early today.
Oh no, it's fabulous. I love it when people are a little bit early, because it gives us an opportunity to greet people as they arrive on board and set the energy, and then because once 11 o'clock starts, I can't keep saying hello and welcome, because I think that in the replay it doesn't look so great.
That's okay. I'll just mute myself and I'll wait for you guys to start.
Hi Jeanette, how are you? Welcome. We're just getting all set up, and actually, you know, I might put, do people want to say hi on video? And I'll give you the opportunity, and I don't know if Pammy wants to do it. You're
Probably not.
yeah, great.
Oh, Jeanette.
Hi.
Beautiful Jeanette. Hello.
How is everybody?
Welcome, Jeanette. Where are you dialing in from today?
I'm dialing in from the Gold Coast.
Fabulous. We're up here in far north Queensland, and let me tell you, the humidity is here.
Yes.
Hi, Catherine. We won't leave videos on for the whole time, but yeah, you can see Catherine's already got her fans on.
Hi, Catherine.
Catherine's up in Townsville, and you know, I actually turn my air cons on. I try and get to the end of October. Every year I say I'll get to the end of October.
It didn't last.
get to the 1st of October tomorrow and my aircon is on today.
We've only just started the humidity. Just.
Oh, it's just, yeah.
I left Townsville 4 years ago and I will never return.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, look, Jeanette, I feel like that. We arrived in Townsville for 3 months and we've stayed 2 decades. And I'm still planning on getting back to like Tassie. I need really cool weather.
Oh,
You're going
I'm from
back-
Tasmania. I'm from
Sorry?
Tasmania. I'm from Tasmania.
Oh, whereabouts?
I grew up in Savage River and Lewina and Waratah, and then I moved to Somerset.
Okay, so we used to live in, well, we did Westbury and then worked in Deloraine. And yeah, I just, you know, and then spent weekends down near the Hobart area, which I just love the old buildings.
Next year when I do all of Jean's courses, I am then either relocating to live in Scotland or back to Tasmania. So,
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, look, I think, you know, go back to Tassie and then I've got someone to I'm collecting people in Tassie.
I was actually thinking go to Scotland and I could visit Scotland.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's do a course in Scotland, Jean.
Okay. Okay.
I've never left Australia before, so my children and grandchildren have decided to just move to Scotland.
Mm.
Never left Australia. I think the first time I went on a plane was at 17 to immigrate from South Africa to Australia. So it was a huge experience.
Wow.
And I didn't really start traveling till the age of 40. And that came about because my feng shui lady came and activated, I wanted to activate money. And she said, oh, look, the side effect of activating this energy to here is that will activate travel. And next minute was like 5 overseas trips in about 18 months. So
Wow.
I went from not traveling and not really enjoying traveling. Hi, Margaret. Lovely to join us. I'm going to let you put your video on just for you to give us a hello. And oh, everyone's getting on board. So we'll just say have a quick hi. We've got 2 minutes before we start and then we will mute everyone then. Hi, Kylie. Hello, Vincent and Kay. Welcome. We're just doing the quick sound checks and the welcoming everyone.
Finished.
Oh yeah, I'll mute everyone. Wanting to put your, oh, hi Kay, how are you?
Oh, good, thank you.
Kay's dialing in from Townsville. Hi Deborah. Deborah's dialing in from Townsville. We got a few Townsville ladies, Jean, and
Oh, wow.
the exciting part about this is that Jean has, in her email to me, said that she's open to coming to Townsville. So, which would, you know, work in really well. So, hello, Margaret, how are you? We've got you on video there. And Deborah's up on video.
Margaret is a beautiful client down in Colac, Victoria. So hi, Margaret. Welcome.
Okay, her sound's not coming through. So in country Victoria?
Yes, country Victoria.
Fabulous. Josanne's here, Diane's here. Hello, ladies. This is all getting very exciting. At some point, things are going to probably get a little bit busy. And then I think we've got 1 minute to go, so I might just start. We're going to use the chat box later on today, and that way, you know, we don't have to have everybody's sound on, but as questions come up, you know, sort of type them in, because at the end, you have the option to actually ask questions. So I'm just looking at the time here, everyone back onto mute, because we are going to start. Just making sure everyone's on mute. And I might have to take people's cameras off just so it's not as distracting to Jean. And then that way she can concentrate and bring through the amazing energy that she's known for. It's the most exciting time, actually, because I've been in the room in her presence, and it flows beautifully. So let's do this last one. Stop video.
Thank you.
Yep. And I'll take my glasses off. It's 11 o'clock. Let's start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I've just got a few people's sounds coming up, so I'm just going to mute that one. I'll just run through before I quickly start, because as people are coming in, it's just getting a little bit noisy. Okay, mute. And then once that's all done, great. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar with Sheehan from Millennium Education. Today's a very exciting day because I booked this in with Jean a few months back, and we've calculated the timing so that all the information that she shares with you today is perfectly timed for you to do it now and follow through with what she's saying. So she's really going to be supporting you this spring. Jean, hello and welcome to you today.
Taryn, hello, and hello to everybody. I'm super excited. I've been super excited for the last week, just going, oh my gosh, it's happening. So yeah, so thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for saying yes. I know that you're a really busy lady because not only do you travel the country, but you've actually traveled overseas, and you go to a lot of places where you teach, and we'll discuss that later on. But what you are most known for, Jean, is that you are the walking, talking MRI Queen of Hearts at Manifesting. This is quite a title. So I'm really curious as to, you know, what does that mean and what do you do?
Yeah, that's a crazy sound, doesn't it? So when I go to networking events or whatever, they introduce me as, this is the walking, talking MRI. So what does that mean? So I have always had the ability of being able to see inside the person's body, the anatomy, the physiology, right down to the cells. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I went into nursing, pathology and autopsies to quantify my very creative, intuitive brain and my very science brain. I needed to marry them up. And so it was actually a client who poo-pooed all this sort of stuff and said, oh, she doesn't know anything. And he said, Jean, we're going to call you the walking, talking MRI. And I said, can I use them? He said, absolutely. So that's why I'm known as the walking, talking MRI, that as soon as I can see you or walking down the beach, I can see absolutely everything inside the person. And Queen of Hearts, all my branding's hearts. I just believe that when we're in that love space or that high vibe, our body is our health and our health is our wealth. And I've got heart glasses, sunglasses, everything I give is of hearts, and I love to give.
So I speak a lot about the love frequency, and so I love using hearts, and I know that when I was diagnosed that I spoke to people and sort of tried to inform them about, you know, switching out of a fear vibration, which is really low frequency, up into a heart vibration. So all your heart branding really resonates with me, and you know, a heart is something that we know it's all about love, and it's not confusing, and that's what you effuse everywhere. So talk about your history. You started then as a nurse, so that's a curiosity in itself, because now you're a medical intuitive.
Yeah,
well, you always were.
Always were, but the name was, once I've done my medical training, then I could say medical and intuitive together. Yeah. And I actually became a nurse because my mum died on Christmas Day. And when I was watching her in hospital, I was 16, she was 43. I couldn't understand the medical system. Why couldn't I see what I could see and what everybody required? And so I thought, well, I'm watching the nurses, and the nurses seem to be with the patient more, like all the time. So I thought, what a great way to understand more. And so whilst I was nursing, I'd actually write case studies of the patients in confidentiality, my knowledge. And I just kept writing, and I would notice themes and what was happening and the diseases. But I needed to know more, so I went into pathology, behind the scenes, looking at the cells under the microscope. But then I needed more, and I went into autopsies. I didn't stay there very long, but I needed to know what I saw. What I saw is what I saw, And yeah, it just seemed to marry up beautifully, absolutely beautifully.
So, sorry, Jean, for a minute here, I'm just thinking that your microphone might be catching on either your earrings or your hair. So it's just clicking and it's a little bit distracting.
Oh, thank you. And I greatly, greatly apologise to everybody.
Oh, no, it might just, yes. So, well, that's amazing. Okay, so throughout your career, you've been absolutely successful in everything that you do. And along the way, you've overcome many obstacles and you've also collected many accolades. So can you tell us more about that part?
Yeah, so obstacles, challenges, life lessons, all the same thing. People get really funny when I say I've actually been very blessed. My background is actually Greek Arabic, and I was born in Kuwait, and the first 5 years were there. And it was very tumultuous and quite violent, and a lot of abuse, physical, mental, sexual. And in that process, I really had to learn, well, what's me, what's okay, what's not okay. And it was growing up with a full burqa, and not women weren't about shining, etc. And especially being able to see inside the body, that was seen as evil. So I was actually pinned with an evil eye to go, don't go near that child. She's really bad. She's going to put a curse, you'll die, etc. As I mentioned, my mum dying when I was 16 years old on Christmas Day. And then I had my first son, who's nearly 26. He was born with lots of medical, surgical things. So they're just some of the challenges, but I've never seen them as challenges. I've seen them as, you know what, they're really opportunities. And it's all based around what you can see behind me of certain things happen at certain ages and certain times of the year. And how can I overcome them and make them a blessing, have them as a blessing? And the accolades, using again sacred geometry, it was right, let's take these things. How can I support people, connections, all that sort of thing with my work as a medical intuitive, but I want to align it where the universe tells me exactly what to do, how to be, and offer that space. So it's using these two things, and I thought, if we have time, I'd love to give examples so people can use it for spring and make it happen.
I think that's what we're very excited about, to use whatever we can and whatever tools that you have to offer to help us high vibe, and from that space we can manifest easily when we're in flow. So you've been known to break a few limitations, not only globally, but through, well, not only locally and through Australia, but absolutely globally, because you are the first person to actually offer a medical intuitive course that is accredited. Please tell me more, because this is pretty breaking news. A lot of people who haven't been aware that this even exists.
Thank you. Again, using the divine wisdom of the universe, people kept saying, Jean, can you teach medical intuition? And I said, absolutely. And then as it went through, people not just in the spiritual, but in the mainstream, so doctors, physios, people that needed what they call CPD points or accreditation, said, oh, I can't do it, I need accreditation. So I'm going to check both the grids according to the universe. How can I make this happen? And so with 2 years perseverance, it's not my personality, but I stuck with it, aligned with the 2 grids of the seasons and what happens at certain ages. I went through the accreditation process, and now the courses are now available in 26 countries around the world, which I'm just super, super excited, because that integrative care for me of physical, metaphysical, just means people can be the best that they can be and help health as their wealth.
You know, as you said that, the energy just fired up in me and just flowed in through me, because it really is the integration of both parts.
Yes.
And, you know, we live in a third dimensional world, and we're here to explore it and live within it, but then add in all your amazing teachings as well, so that we can actually take people who are stuck in more the science side and integrate them into what is more the spiritual side.
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, it's integration as having the best of both worlds. What do they say? Have your cake and eat it too. Well, I want everything. I want the cake and eat it and more cake, and just let's have that integration of everyone working together, this beautiful team, so that everyone can blossom.
And so what is your motivation and what is your legacy? And legacy is a really thing, but you know, so when I ask about your legacy, I'm probably asking what is your perception of your legacy. But I did hear the interview where Maya Angelou and Oprah were together, and Oprah was speaking about creating her legacy in Africa, and Maya said, how can you possibly know exactly what your legacy is? Because it's not just what you think you're doing, but you're actually touching the hearts and minds and souls of millions more in the process. So there'd be instances where you are not aware of what you're creating in your legacy, but what are the areas that you are aware of that you're creating as your legacy?
So probably two, and they're great questions, Taryn, thank you, especially first thing on a Monday morning, making me use my mind. Legacy, I've always said my legacy was first myself and my family, so my two sons. Be the example of what's possible, of health, wealth, mind, body, spirit. And for me, that is, right, I've got to have fun, whatever I do. So whether I was nursing, pathology, autopsies, or this, and then that means that it's almost like everyone can have fun in their life. So be the example. And then for the rest of the world, why can't they have health? So I just believe, so with medical intuition, I was able to see inside people's bodies, and especially children, and develop the Millennium children personalities. I just believe if we know who we are, what our gifts are, what our challenges are, which are really our gifts, then we can absolutely blossom. So my legacy, or my biggest passion, is know who you are, know what you're great at, and just go out in the world, be you. How amazing would that be? Then we wouldn't have as much health, whether it's mind or body or spirit. And to be able to say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I create pink rulers or pink lipstick, or did you notice all my things are pink, or whatever it is, be yourself, and to be able to shine that brilliance. That's my legacy. It was also my challenge because of possibly my training of, you know, full burqa, don't shine at all. But that wasn't a bad thing, because that taught me, what do you really want?
That's really interesting about the burqa, and I might be going a little bit rogue and off topic just briefly, but when I went and did my shamanic Reiki work in Bali and met some ladies doing Kundalini, and I asked them about wearing the headscarf tightly wrapped sort of around their head, and they spoke about containing your energy. And so for the week, I had a headscarf on, and I could really feel like the energy was completely contained, and it was enough to build it and to grow it within. So, you know, sometimes, you know, I wonder whether that burqa helped you just contain some of that energy while you were developing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it wasn't so much the burqa was a bad thing, just some of the, shall we call it, the lifestyle, that if females were out in front, that was not acceptable in my culture. So it was more of that rather than the burqa as such.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I was just sort of doing the side effect of, you know, knowing how amazing sometimes it is to be able to contain your energy.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, let's start delving into it and digging deep, because I've waited a long time to hear about this. And the reason I know that, you know, you speak on other aspects, and I probably jumped in and asked you to speak about sacred geometry, which isn't necessarily what you usually do, perhaps in webinars, and you've been so kind to do this. But the reason for me asking is that I keep seeing it coming up time and again, and I'm not entirely sure how it works and what it is, and I want to know more, and I want to know how can I use this so that I can live my high vibe life. So let's dig deep, and the floor is over to you.
Awesome. Now, Taryn, I get really excited and I talk fast as the downloads come through. So please everyone be patient. I just want to give as much. So you'll see 2 circles behind me. Now, sacred geometry, what does that mean? Something that's really, really special and within us and without. And geometry, there's mathematics that certain things happen at certain times. And what we do is we push against it. So I'm going to go to this one, the Millennium calendar, as an example. Winter time in the Southern Hemisphere is all about stop. So June, complete things, July, retreat. Now, retreat doesn't mean that you have to stop working. Just go away and reflect, and August start planning. So winter's new beginnings. And what we tend to do in winter time is we push, push, push. Welcome to coughs, colds, sickness, just everything, because we don't stop. And then spring. So I'm going to focus on the spring energy because that's where we are at the moment. And I'm just going to move that around so I don't move the computer again. So here in the springtime, spring is about birth and nurture. And that birth and nurture time, the universe is saying with sacred geometry, what ideas have you got? Instead of playing the mouse on the wheel going round and round and round and round and not creating what you want, what is it that you've always wanted to do? So how I used it was I'll go to the accreditation courses or even the first medical intuitive cards, which I forgot to bring and show. But the medical intuitive cards, I've been playing with those since I was a little girl. There used to be a thing called swap cards, and I used to love them and organize them and have them all pretty. And I always saw a vision of cards with like people's bodies on them. I looked at when to launch and when to design them, and I launched them in spring. But it wasn't the actual physical product. It was the launch of, I've got this idea. Now I want to find a graphic designer. I want to find the printer. I want to find a wholesaler. I want it to be in Australia. So birth and nurture can be, what concept have you got? The universe says, birth the idea, nurture it, grow it, see who you need to have as a support network with you. Now I'm going to link in this one. Depending on what age you are, and just so people know, I'm 52, so I'm right in the center. And this goes around in every 13 years. You align this with this. And there's no number that's better than any number, but just looking at what number are you. So for example, at age 46, it's all about express yourself, be out there. At age 45, be out there. And I decided, okay, I'm going to be out there. And that's when, in the springtime, I got offers to be on front covers of magazines, speak on cruises, talk about all of this stuff. So part of sacred geometry is saying, okay, there's an inner part of you that you know when you activate or connect with your high vibe, that love aspect, things are going to line up for you. But work out what you want and what's your real heart's desires. So I'm going to give an example of this one. So age 13 is the number of the genius. So numbers in the 13 will be 13, 26, 39, 52, 65. And if you're any of those numbers, that's the time to go, you know what? I can do that. I can be that. I can have that. The numbers that we are going to, number 7, which is next year, which is 2020, really sacred number. So I'm going to link those two in, and Taryn, you'll have to tell me when to stop talking. So we're going to go spring, and we're going to go the 2020 energies. 2020 energies are bringing in, let's bring in all dualities, physical, metaphysical. So third dimension and the intuitive. And then spring, what is it you would like to birth? So it might be a new business. It might be you'd like to create a product or find a partner or whatever it is. Spring is the perfect time to do it. You look at all the plants that happen, say, not so much in the humidity, but say from Bundaberg down, we have a flower called jacaranda that's coming out that says, stay focused, really know what you want and let people know. So Taryn, I'm going to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to take your age according to that. Is that okay?
Oh, super. I'm 44.
44.
And interesting that you mentioned the jacaranda trees, because even when I was young and at school and grew up in South Africa, whenever the jacaranda trees were flowering, it was time to study, and it was just before exams. So it's interesting that you brought that up, because my jacaranda tree is flowering now.
Ah, perfect, perfect. And what happens with all of this is that the plants and animals tell us what to do. So I come back to town, say winter time, the snakes disappear. They go and hibernate. They're meant to hibernate. If we watch the plants and the animals, they tell us what to do according to this. So excuse my back so that I can point to the right number. So you said 44, which is a number 5. Number 5 is all about freedom. And the freedom at 45 is in our mind of, yep, easy, that's possible. I'm going to find a solution. That's going to be easy. And then I'm going to link it with spring over here. And that's saying, the universe is saying, right. So Taryn might say, I'm going to make it up, Taryn, I'd like a new picture behind it. You've got a stunning picture behind now, but she might say, I want to be an artist and create high vibe artistry. Well, she's got the freedom that, of course, anything's possible, because it's spring. Everything, once she's got that clarity, goes, here's an artist and someone on Facebook, and this person types it. It's like the law of attraction says, here you go, here you go, here you go. Have it all. So does that make sense?
Oh, yes. Probably explain me right down to a T at the moment.
Oh, awesome. So these ones are really ancient, especially this one of sacred geometry. These are not flat 3D. This is actually a sphere. And the old, you can see like my hippie earring, I took the other one off for the microphone, but it used to be the crystal ball, and I'm going to tell you fortune. Looking into this grid, the ancients used to look in, see where you are, what's happening, what age, align it with the next grid and put them together, and be able to tell you right specifically, this age and this time, this is the time to do it. And the way I've brought it through in this lifetime is where it's very grounded, so that if you know the age, you know the season, oh, let's do it. And to be honest, that thing of overcoming accolades and challenges, or creating accolades and challenges, I just looked at what age I was, when to do it, and that's why it flows really easily. And that's why I love sharing it, teaching, and going, oh my gosh, what age are you? Oh my gosh, we're in winter, let's go. Let's do it here. This is what you can do. So it's very, very exciting. So do you have a question, Taryn? And then I can be even more specific.
Oh, I'm just sitting here taking it all in and feeling very excited. So essentially what we can then do is plan ahead, and you know, people do their goal setting, and you can then plan for certain times in your life to then move on to the next area and direction and live that for your highest good.
Always, always. And the universe says directly, here you go, here you go, here you go. And so, for example, back here, each of the seasons has a meaning. Winter, new beginnings. Spring, birth and nurture the new beginning. Summer, harvest it, go out and reap the rewards. And then autumn, complete it. So it's 4 cycles. But then within each cycle, so for spring, it's nurture, nurture, nurture. October, practice it. And then November, master it. So I'm going to use mine as an example. And I do plan 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years in advance, depending on what age I am and what season. And it's just flicked on the Northern Hemisphere with this one. So for me, my birthing is my new product that I'm releasing, which is this one. It's a 12-month course. And then I will practice it more in October, master it, and then I go out into summertime and really tell the world. The way I'm doing it is I will have meetups, I have a Facebook group, so it's like, hello everyone, come and play with me here. And then autumn, shut it down, winter, reflect on it, let's see how else I can support people. And then it's all based around here, which aligns with I'm a number 1 coming up next week. It's my birthday, I'll be 53, so new beginnings. So I know it will be a success because the universe says, here, have it.
Oh, this is all sounding really exciting because, you know, working and living our life according to the seasons means that we are operating and working in flow with the energy, as opposed to just doing whatever we please. And sometimes whatever we please is actually going against the natural flow.
Totally, Totally. And that's why I say wintertime, when people push, and they wonder why they get a cold. Or if they're selling a house, I say spring is the best time because people all come out from winter. Put your house on the market. Tell people about your new product. That synchronicity and flow, it's not synchronized. Synchronicity is in, oh, isn't that interesting? It's like, yes, it just synchronizes and it's sustainable. It's flowing with nature, animals, plants, fruit and veggie. People after winter can have like depression or seasonal affective disorder called SAD. And so we've got the stone fruit in summer, peaches, nectarines, plums, mango, that are all natural antidepressants, saying, here, this is what you need. So yes, we seem to push away what the high vibe natural flow is for some reason.
And so in terms of sacred geometry, I mean, this has been around for a long time. You know, who actually put this all together, or how did it all come together? Is this your own system, or is this something that has been developed, you know, over time?
Sacred geometry is not my original thing. These are. Sacred geometry was taught by beautiful ancient souls. So that, like millions and millions of years ago. And then especially in a time called Atlantis, which was about 26,000 years ago, high priestesses actually taught this sort of wisdom of how to be. Then through the times, it was shamans. Then we had, in Atlantis, we had high priestesses there as well, the Grecian goddesses. Then in medieval times, it was like witches and warlocks, and they mean wise people. And then we sort of shut it down, sort of poo-pooing it. But it's been around forever. And it's actually mathematics where certain shapes and things will fit into the sphere, and every shape that fits in means that we're whole and complete. So traditionally, sacred geometry was very structured, like the Platonic solids or flower of life. This work was my original work that I've always seen as a child, but it wasn't until many years ago when I had my awakening process that these downloads came through, and I just had to dump it all, then translate it into everyday grounding. So this one's taught, I teach this one in hospitals and schools with a health side, and this one is taught in businesses for people to really shine their brilliance, but it still comes back to that health as well. Because if you go against them, that's when we get disharmony in the body.
I'm really curious as to, you know, when you say that you teach in hospitals, you know, how is that, and how do they receive this kind of information, or even the, you know, the weirdness that comes with it?
Yeah, it is. So hospitals, schools and cruise ships. So at the end of October, I'm actually speaking on a cruise ship again about this stuff. Initially, it was very challenging. There was heckling and poo-pooing, etc. And that's why I'm very blessed, because I've got the grounded nursing background. It gives me that credibility. When I deliver it, I love to use examples and say to people, before we even start, let's have some people. I can tell you exactly what's been happening for you and what would have happened at certain ages. And I explain straight off, I'm not actually psychic or clairvoyant. I don't know how I see inside the body. I just do. Like you're good at knitting, or you're good at calligraphy, or you're good at IT. Same thing. So being vulnerable and real, which is what sacred geometry is, be yourself. People seem to be really open-hearted. And because I go in open-hearted saying, and excitement, I just got so excited and go, oh my gosh, let's go. They're quite open. And I think today people are more interested in that holistic integrative approach rather than chop off a leg and have medication. So, and schools are desperate for that support. Like, we're just not grasping children. Why are children getting anxiety? They shouldn't get anxiety. What's going on? So I think I'm very blessed that people are very open. And then I just go in fully hearted going, let's play. So yes.
Well, I think, you know, what you're doing is incredibly exciting for the next generation in the future, because, you know, we have grown up with a bit of limitation, in terms of, you know, hiding some of our gifts.
Yes.
And, you know, it's wonderful that everything's coming to the surface and being appreciated by, you know, some of the mainstream places like, you know, hospitals and schools.
Yes, I think children sometimes are a great target because they come into the world, so on the grid, they come into the world fully open, high vibe love. And then we teach them, they actually, you'll see pink numbers here, they're the age disconnection. So we disconnect at age 13 of forgetting that we can be, do, have. And then from the age of 14 till the rest of our life, we're constantly looking at how can we be ourselves? What can we do? How can we shine? So for me, children are easy, absolutely easy. They totally understand this. And when I've done expos, I've had what I call star children come up and they don't know this. I haven't taught them and they can tell me exactly what's happening. And I just think, oh my gosh, absolutely incredible, incredible.
You just touched on star children. Some of our audience members might not know what you're speaking.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So I coined the children in 4 personalities, not just children, 4 personalities. And this was from doing the case studies when I was nursing, looking inside their body. And we've got the stars. They excel in anything that's left brain. So scientists, computer boffins, solicitors, structure engineering, just amazing. So they look at the engineering of this. Then we have the gorgeous crystals. They see the prettiness and the sacred geometry of this. And they're very great at communities and healing and support and nurturing, just delicious. Then we have the aquas, and the aquas are the ones I get most inquiries about. The aquas are the ones that like to bulldoze and say, you know what, let's make new ways. They see this and they don't want to know the numbers like the stars and they don't want to see the pretty. They just want to know, right, where do I make money? Right, how can I be the best? They're very upfront, but they like to get the potentiality. And then we have the beautiful rainbow. Generally speaking at this stage, rainbow children or personalities tend to be Down syndrome, physically disabled on some level, and you can change personalities. So I hope that helps. And I forgot, I get so excited because it's all integrated. But the children just know, no matter what personality, they just know this. And they go, well, yeah, as though we're silly adults, like, are you silly? Like, what do you, of course it's going to work out.
So what I learned earlier when we were talking about all the sacred geometry shapes being able to fit within the sphere, and then what do you do with each of those shapes? Because I remember you sort of saying, well, you can take some of those shapes and you've got the card deck and you take the card and you use the shape.
Yes. Yes. So in the sacred geometry shapes, and Taryn, if it's okay, we might even put the link here or afterwards for people can download a free chart that I've got. It's always.
Christine, is she on here? Okay, Christine's not here, so we might ask Pammy to do that. Oh no, Christine is here. So I'll pop the link up for us. Thank you, Christine.
Christine's popped the YouTube in, but we might get Pammy to put the platonic solid chart in
as
well.
Oh,
yeah.
Super.
Yep. With, let's say, let's go to the cube. Everyone knows what a cube is. So it's like a box. So that box has lots of meanings. It's related to the element of earth. So it might be that people aren't grounded or are maybe trapped in a box, feeling trapped, or maybe they need to put something in a container and box it, like we were talking about the burqa of containing your energy. One of the things of the cube is that people need to learn in their own time. For example, the aqua personality learns by experiment. So let's pretend this is Swarovski crystal. We go into, it's only plastic, go into Swarovski crystal shop and the child picks it up and says, I wonder how that works, and drops it. So me as a parent would use the cube for me understanding and the child understanding. They need to learn in their own time. The aqua needs to learn, don't drop the Swarovski. It's not a good way to learn. Learn a gentle way. So in taking that shape, you can visualize it around yourself. You can have the shape printed and place like your water on top. This is what the ancients, the high priestesses of Atlantis did. Pop the water on top, and then you change the frequency of the water so that it becomes the cube. It's great for children to visualize themselves in that space. If they're not dealing with school very well, they can visualize a cube. There's a beautiful rainbow child adult, Temple Grandin, who built abattoirs based around sacred geometry. If you don't know the story, have a look at it. But she used to make the cube around her, a cuddle around her. So each of these shapes can be used individually for our health. The octahedron, great for the heart chakra, or the tetrahedron, great for the solar plexus. So each of them can be used individually, or all of them. I like to use all of them at the same time. And thank you, Fahmi, for popping the chart in too. You can choose whatever color you want with them. You can make them, some of them people will hear a sound with them as well. I don't hear sounds from them. I'm more visual and can feel them. Each of those platonic solids, the length of them and the angle between them is exactly the same. And part of sacred geometry is knowing that everything fits in perfectly, which is the meaning. All of this is saying, one of my affirmations that I've written in all my books is, we're already perfect, we're just in different stages of remembering. And that's part of sacred geometry. Everything's perfect. Everything's perfect.
That was a bit fascinating, because what you brought up then is using the shapes and utilising water to be able to activate the elements of that within ourselves. And that was, sort of, people aren't aware about the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. He was the Japanese scientist who actually discovered that we can change the structure of water through thoughts or words, and of course sacred geometry. And he did this under filming and experiment, where he took the water and he wrapped different words around different glasses, same water from the same source. And then he would take one drop of each water and put it on a slide, and then put it under the microscope. So you'd have water with joy and love and kindness. And joy would have its own beautiful, he'd stick it in the freezer, and as it would begin to freeze and form into a new shape, it would have its own beautiful individualized shape, and as did love and as did peace. But words such as, destroy and war had sharded, broken bits, and they weren't as beautiful. So, that's taking that, work of changing the water structure and using your sacred geometry to be able to harness the elements of what that sacred geometry brings through. Is that correct?
Spot on. And I wasn't aware of Dr. Emoto because I was already teaching this and seeing it, and I applied it to the water in our body. So depending on the literature, we're 70 to 90% water here. So I would say, well, the concept of a prayer is words and affirmations, or imagine having like even my love heart on me. And then I found out about Dr. Emoto, which I just loved. And when I would look inside the body, when people would say awful things about themselves or their environment or whatever, and I would see the water within their body, whether it be the kidneys, bladder, or within each cell on the water contact, I think, it is fragmented and shattered. Compared to when people started to really look after themselves, there was these divine shapes. So yes, absolutely.
It goes back to, sort of the inner self-talk. And yes, using the sacred geometry, we're supporting that inner self-talk if we're absorbing it via.
Yes.
I'm sure that there's all sorts of things you also touched on, and if people have hopped onto your page, they'll see that you use crystal grids as well.
So the crystal grids, they're maybe people have already done it or used it. To make a crystal grid, choose whatever you like. So you can use crystals, you can put feathers in. I use my medical intuitive cards and platonic solid cards. When you should be ready. when I do it, you make a pattern, and children do this naturally anyway. Whatever the pattern is, underneath the bed, beside the bed, on the coffee table. I do it on the massage table when I do medical intuitive sessions or teaching it. The pattern is to get you back aligned. So I'll give an example. Let's pretend we've got a vision here that I want to be married with 2 children in a house. So that vision, and where I am now, I'm not married, I don't have the children, but I've got the house. So the crystal grid over here helps to put these 2 together. So part of the patterning, and these are the patterns, is to get us back into synchronicity, flow, and alignment of making everything happen so that we have that bigger vision and make it happen as well. Quite often, or once a week I should say, on my Facebook page, I will show a crystal grid that I share with the whole of my community of tap into that energy, use it. And when people create the grids, you'll get messages. So some of the messages could be have more fun, break the limitations. What do you use? Anything you like, but it is about being in that high vibe love energy of just take a moment, see what you require, close your eyes, and then look at what you've got around you and just start placing. Like, I'm getting hot, Taryn, talking about this because when I make crystal grids, I get all connected. So yes, those crystal grids again were created in the ancient times of Atlantis. The high priestesses would use this to repattern the programs that we say, do, and think. And they do help to change the frequency in the body so that disease can rectify itself, help itself, heal itself.
So can you, I know you said you can use any pattern, but I imagine if you're using the patterns of some of the sacred geometry combined with crystals, is that amplifying it?
I do, and that's why I'll use, say, the medical intuitive cards, because it might be kidney that comes out, left brain, left foot chakra, using the body parts, then having the platonic solid cards, which are the specific shapes, and the crystals. It actually makes it, it's like that integrated care of, I want the physical and the metaphysical absolutely working together. So it would be like making, I'm going to give a funny example. I'm going to make a cake, but I'm not going to have the flour, I'm not going to have the sugar, I'm just going to have the oven and the tin. It's almost like not having all the ingredients together. So it does amplify it to really align it in everything mathematically, quantum reality, universal laws, codes, all sorts of things to go, yep, here it is, here it is.
Yeah, that's incredible. What about, the people that don't believe in it? If they were putting a crystal grid out with the sacred geometry and they don't believe in it, does it still happen?
So I'll give an example if that's okay, because I had a gorgeous soul on Friday, a gentleman who his wife told him to come. He didn't know why he was coming, but the wife told him to come. And so we're just having a bit of a chat. I call it a bit of a chat. And I said, would you be open to lying on the massage table? I've just got pet rocks underneath, so I lightened it up. And he said, oh, yeah, okay. So I said, just like, and let's just talk, what's been happening. And he was talking about that every time he creates a business, and I was actually linking these in, so I found out his age, and every time he created a business, everything was taken from under him. I thought, what an interesting concept, everything taken from under him. So I knew it was the feet slipped under him. In the feet is feet chakra, which is all about people pleasing. So I went, feet under him, feet chakra. So I just started to ask questions. Underneath were the platonic solid cards as well. And I said to him, can you just shuffle these cards while you're lying down and pick out cards? Feet card came out, feet chakra came up, gallbladder, which is people pleasing, came up. And I thought, got a bit of a theme here. So I didn't say anything, and I said, you tend to people please. Yeah, how do you know? He was very blunt with me. And so as we were just talking, I said, I'd like you just now just to close your eyes and just, I'm going to have my hand on your tummy. Just tell me what you're feeling. He didn't understand the word feeling. I said, what are you thinking? What's going on? I've got this tingling up my back. What is that? oh, I'm getting really hot around the head. So at the end of the session, we had a bit of a chat. And yes, he did have an emotional release. There was a big cry. He came to realization. And he said, how much are those pet rocks underneath the bed? I said, they're not for sale, but you can go to a crystal shop and you can choose. And then we discussed how the crystals look. So a lot of my audience now are actually non-believers. When I speak on a cruise of 3,000 people, there can be a little bit of heckling of, yeah, whatever. But it's just gently educating the people and saying, what if? And giving them examples here. So it can be challenging. That doesn't work. My husband, who we've been together 35 years, he doesn't quite understand it, but he'll say, which thing do I have? Which crystal? And I say, just choose whichever color you like. Yeah, I have this one. And he'll pop it in his pocket. So sometimes it's tricky to understand when it is non-belief, because it's that metaphysical, but slowly, it gets very addictive, those pet rocks.
I love the way that you do the reframe and the rephrase, because sometimes, you know, certain words are triggering for people.
Yes.
And, you know, just sometimes saying, oh, I use crystals, that can trigger someone who is more scientific minded.
Yes. And because I've got the science mind, my ferocious science mind, I then slip into, okay, what would they understand? How does it need to be? So for me, that high vibe is really tuning into, what does that person require? How do I need to speak to them, connect to them? And that's that heart space. How am I going to be for them as well?
So you have given us a link here, and Christine's put it inside the chat box. Can you just let us know what that link leads us to? Because
Sure.
This is your free gift to everybody who has come on the webinar today.
So the first link is based around this one, because I really want people to be able to have everything so aligned, flowing, that there's a series of YouTube clips that you can just take what you want, or watch them all, or listen to me in the car, and just each one. So we'll have spring, and then it will be broken down to September, October, November, summer, and broken down. And you can take each one, but think of listen to it, and then think of something that you'd like personally and professionally, and how can you apply that? And then goal set with it. Write it down in your diary or put it in your computer diary. And then the other link is actually a free chart you can download and use those crystal or the platonic solids of sacred geometry. Pop it underneath your bed. Meditate with it, pop your glass on it, and see what happens to your body. But it just goes slowly with the videos, and just take one bit and apply it. One bit and apply it.
You know, Jean, one of my top values is generosity, and you know, you are a pleasure to work with, because you are so incredibly generous and giving. And I love looking after my high vibe community and having people and speakers on board who gift so generously. So thank you very much for the access and
Pleasure.
for the link today. So it was sort of looking at the time, and we are opening it up to any questions. And so if you want to pop a question in the chat box that you have for Jean, please do that now, so that Jean can answer whatever queries you may have, and something that I might not have addressed. So please do that now, and I'll just scroll back in the meantime and just have a look at what's been coming up. So everyone was just sort of saying hello in the beginning, and so Jeanette's got a question there. How do I know what my shape is for my age, Jean? She's 53.
Thank you, and I've got gorgeous goosebumps. So I'm going to start with this. Age 53 is a number one. So number one in sacred geometry is there's going to be lots of new beginnings. And at 53, the cycle of 53 to 65, so it's a spiral, kind of the Fibonacci code, that everything aligns together, is looking for everything that's new and that really aligns with the heart space. With the platonic solid shapes, me personally, I'd be using all 5 of the shapes, especially like with the chart, popping the water on it, meditating. And it's the reason I say 5 shapes, because it's a number 1. We want to have everything. I want to have my cake and eat it too. So use all of the shapes. And then we've got, how do you work out which shape is your age? I'm 59. So with the shapes, they're separate. So these are all sacred geometry. So excuse my back for a moment. Age 59 is number 7. And number 7 is a time of having both worlds. Again, I can have my cake and eat it too, that I can have everything. So it's working on that energy first and looking at everything that makes me feel really whole and complete. That's the energy of number 7. And then with the platonic solids, what are you gravitating to? It's different from the number 1 where it's in the beginning, have the lot. Number 7 is actually what aligns with me. So you might look at the tetrahedron or the octahedron or the icosahedron. All the names are on the chart and go, you know what? I love that shape. I'm just going to use that for this year or that for the day, or I'm going to meditate with it. So really, 7 is really, really, really look at your intuition, listen to your intuition and follow that one. So that's really important.
I think, thank you. That was for Katie. Kay, how did she work out that 2020 is a 7-year? It was mentioned in the beginning, Jean.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. So once you know the basic 13 numbers, it's really, really easy. Know those, and then in each, I call it house, piece of cheese, either or, is a certain number. So 7, 20, 33, 46, it keeps going up every 13 years. Next year is 2020. So 20 is in a number 7. So it's number 7, number 7. So when I'm designing my destiny and goal setting, and I love goal setting with all of this, I know that it's a 2020. So I know that next year people will be requiring to feel whole and complete. And already I've had clients saying, I'm beside myself. That's a 7-7. It's like, I'm over here, but I'm over here. How do I integrate the both? So the 2020 energies says that, okay, what's going to bring me back into alignment? Do I need this and this? Do I need, if I'm losing weight, do I lose weight and have a personal trainer? What things, so 7-7 or 2020 is all about the marriage of you to you and what's the best. And then I forgot the other part of what was her question, Karen?
It's going up to, was that, so we're on K, how did you work out the 2020 as a 7-year?
Yeah, so the 2020 was next year, or 2021 goes into A, 2022, so it just keeps going along. Whereas number 6, 2019, express ourselves. So I just follow the grid, and then I know exactly what's going to happen. I know what a number 7 is. Number 7 is the marriage and everything, I'm whole and complete. So I hope that helps.
Thank you. And the next one is Diane saying she's 58. Can you help her with that, please?
Excuse my back again. And we'll go 52, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 6. I get excited about every number, but number 6, express yourself. By the time we turn 53 through to 65, it's love of others. So each 13 year is a soul evolution. It's a higher vibration of yourself. So it's love of others, but it's being aware to love others means, I'll give you an example. So me turning 53 and beyond means that I love my sons who are 20 and 26 so much, but I allow them to go and have their experiences. You know, whether they make a wrong decision buying a car because they wouldn't listen to mum, that's loving them, going, well, I'm right here, I'm home. The next, at that age for number 6, is loving others, but also being able to say, well, you know what? I just need to let you know about this if you're open to it. It's actually expressing, and it's also a fabulous time, especially one with spring, to really launch any business concept that you've got, or healing, or anything that you really want to do. Express it. Let people know, because they're so ready to take on what you've got, because you're in the number 6.
The beautiful Maria has said, thank you so much, Jean. She would like some more information about how to actually connect in with you and do a personal session and on what actions she can take to move forward. So how would she do that?
Sure. The website is the best way. If you go to millenniumeducation.com and there is go to contact us, and one of my team will support you on connecting with me. That would be fabulous.
She's just said her number is, she's 32. So what number is
32. Number 6 as well, but this number 6 is different. So at the age of 36, that's 27. Oh, 32.
32.
Oh, apologies, but I'm actually 36. My goodness. Actually, I'll stay with 36. I'm not sure of the name, Taryn. Who was that?
That was Maria.
Maria,
Yeah.
even though you're 32, your body has jumped into 36, which can happen with the sacred geometry. There's something that you need to look at for in advance of where you are now. So wherever you are now at 32, which is number 6, that you need to be expressing yourself now for the future, because that will support you. So sometimes the sacred geometry, because this is ever evolving, this is actually spinning around. Sometimes people's ages will jump ahead or stay in another number. So I hope that makes sense for you, Maria, that there's something you need to look at now for the expression of your future.
Well, Maria's the one who's keen to connect in with you privately. So for that time, you can go into more depth, because that sounds very curious and interesting.
Thank you.
We've got Kylie, and she wants to know, how does the geometry and calendar fit or not fit with astrology? And she is 48.
So I'll address 48 first, and 48 is number 9. Number 9 at 48 is you'll start to notice a lot of physical things finishing. So physical things can be like menopause, not doing the dishes, getting the kids to do the dishes, changing job. It's a real finish of physical things. So when I turned 48, it was I chose not to cook dinners anymore. I made my sons do it. Menopause, I was finished. So physical things will happen at that time. Sacred geometry is actually, and especially the Millennium Grid, is very different from numerology. This is based on soul evolution, whereas numerology and astrology is lining of the planets. However, these align with astrology and all of that deliciousness as well. But this one is based on your evolution of the soul. So we come in at 0 age, and from 0 to death is learning that we are love. So they all align together, but it is different from numerology. This one is different from astrology, as it's based around what is happening in our seasons. So for example, this year, especially here on the Sunshine Coast, Noosa, where I live, the other day, 2 days ago, we had this huge thunderstorm. We don't have those in spring. We have that January. So it's taking an alignment of, okay, maybe I need to look at summer now in spring. So these are always ever evolving to check in where you are. So I hope that helps you.
Jean, do you mind going a little over time, because there's a few more questions, or do you have...
I'm happy if I'm just going to check my phone for a moment.
Is that, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, super. Thank you for that. So some of the questions that are coming in now, Jean, are from ladies wanting to know how to work with you. So one of the ways is to work with Jean, and her beautiful assistant has put the link up there for the contact form. But Jean, you did mention that you'd be open to coming to Townsville and speaking at one of my meetups, which would be amazing. Perhaps when you come and do the meetup, you might stay for a little longer and run a course up here.
Oh, I love it, love it, love it.
In terms of courses, you know, if ladies were interested, you run different types of courses. What would that look like?
When I tend to travel, I can travel with certain courses. I'll be very open and vulnerable with this time. I can travel with certain courses like these ones. And then there's other courses that I do keep here on the Sunshine Coast because we might explore extinct volcanoes and a few little secrets. Because I love to give, I try not to tell everybody what's on the course because you'll miss out on the surprise element. So these ones do travel. So if they're looking at this, I tend to do them back to back. They're 2 days each because they flow. I do them back to back. And it's just a case of coming in with an open mind, open heart. I'll provide the heart sunglasses because everyone's got heart sunglasses and the fun. And then it's just looking at, okay, both of them, where do I want to go and what do I really want to shine in? And I always say do personal first because the business flows. Do you and everything will flow. The medical intuitive courses, I tend to, next year I'm already booked for those so that they won't travel because I booked 12 months in advance with my keynote speaking and courses.
That's why, you know, it was very exciting to be able to get this spot on your calendar just for the webinar, because I know that, you know, you are really booked out and very grateful for that. Jean, we've got the beautiful Christine asking, she's 36. Could you give her a little bit of insight into that number?
36, sure. Tara, may I give another gift? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Pammy, do you mind putting a link for the YouTube of the Millennium Grid? So that way, Taryn, your beautiful community gets the YouTube of that one. They get the Platonic Solid Chart. Then they get the 13 videos of that. That way they can play and just sit and design their destiny, if that's okay.
Start immersion.
I've forgotten the age. I got excited with gifting.
That was 36.
36. Let's go to 36. Number 10. Oh, I'm glad someone came up with the number 10. Age 10 years old, children up until the age of 9 are very balanced, and our hardest lessons are doing all the physical things. So I've got to learn to eat, sleep, go to the toilet, communicate, and go to the toilet. Or did I say that? But anyway, the physical things, they're the hardest lessons. From the age of 10, for the rest of our life, it's all about monkey mind or mental mind, that I know how to walk. So I say to everyone, you all know how to walk. Let's go walk across the Grand Canyon in really high pink stilettos with a tight dress like I've got on, with no rail, no harness, no anything. All of you are going to say, absolutely, Dee. Not. Number 10. Number 10, at the ages of 23, 36, 49, is looking at what is my mind saying and being very, very conscious and aware of not going into that monkey mind. So it's a great, great time, the opposite number 4, to be checking in on, hang on, is this really triggering me in my mind? Am I high vibes and heart with this? Nope, then it's not for me. No, I'm going to stay. So that age of 36 or 49 is very much staying in our heart space and just being aware of the thought processes.
I'm 68.
Sorry, that was someone unmuting.
But that's okay. That's fine.
And we'll just take one, look, we've got 2 more questions and then we'll need to close it off there. So there were just, so Charmaine has asked, she's 57 and would appreciate any information. And then Josanne is 63, turning 64 on the 6th of December.
57, let's go to 50. So it's a number 5. 5 is all about freedom, and the freedom here at the age of 57 is in my mind. It's almost like saying, well, you know what? I've done with the children, I've done with my career, now it's what I want to do. And that freedom, it's about saying and doing, actioning everything that makes you free. I'm just going to link into medical intuition time because I'm being guided to say that. So the shoulder chakras, we've got shoulders which are burdens of responsibility, but there's a chakra on the shoulders. And when people don't feel free in their mind, they might have things like frozen shoulder or soul, because there's this desperate desire to feel free. So 5 is about freedom, or that age is freedom. The 63, 64, I like that because that's cusp, because you can have cusp numbers. So 63, 64, it's in between 11 and, oops, excuse me, I dropped my mic, apologies. It's on the line. So it will be a case of being aware of being over responsible and also time to finish. So in our life, we'll be very conscious of both sides of that, that age. And when in between, when we're on the cusp of both ages, it's just having the awareness. And it's like we move a house. The soul actually evolves into that higher vibe, going into the next house, the next house. And that's where I link in the platonic solids and also the crystal gridding. Sometimes we can subconsciously resist that next space, and so that things will flow. Making a crystal grid underneath your bed or beside you on your desk or wherever it is, just helps us to move into that new high vibe energy so that it all flows with synchronicity.
Jean, this has been an amazing session. In fact, we've got, first of all, Shona says she's just had a quick look at YouTube and she's found her number and great links and information. Thank you so much. And then Jeanette has said this has been the best use of her time in a long time. Thank you so much. So that's just beautiful words of affirmation, and thank you so much to all the ladies who've been present today, who have given up their time to watch this webinar live. I'm very grateful because time is one of our most precious resources. I'm incredibly grateful to Jean for sharing so generously the information, her love, her links, and for all her gifts to my tribe. Jean, I'm looking forward to us figuring out the ways of getting you up to Townsville to speak at the meetup, and of course to do a 2-day course. I think that would be most magical and would create a raised vibe in our local community. Thank you to all of you who've attended today.
Thank you, Taryn. I'm just so honoured, darling. And thank you. And thank you to everyone that's joined us. I hope they get a little tickle of fancy and design their destiny, knowing that they're absolutely brilliant.
Fabulous. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining. If you would like to access any of Jean's stuff, please click on those links. Right click to save them somewhere so that you can access them afterwards. And we'll see you all at the next webinar. Thank you, Jean, and thank you all for your amazing time with us today. God bless.